Hello pinball fans, we're going to have some fun with pinball today because we have this Judge Dredd pinball machine that I have a new topper for. And this topper is not painted. This is the one you get from Planetary Pinball that is opaque white. And I bought it because they were out of the painted ones. But then once I got it, I said, you know what, let's have some fun. Let's LED this thing versus painting it. So what we've done is, before we install it, I'll show you what we've done to the back. And when I say we, I mean me. This is filled with Comet Pinball. They're matrix LED strips, flashers, and lights. So to kind of walk you through what I've done to this topper to wire it all up. First of all, down here, we've got red LED strips. These are all GI illuminated LED strips that cover almost the whole circumference of the wing. And that's on both sides. So this is going to illuminate completely red. And as I've tested it, it glows the whole wing sections completely red. Inside, down here, we're going to point to the right place. Once it unblurs, you'll see that there is some of Comet's, their little LED circuit boards that just have one LED on them that light up, and those are gold. And what we've done is on either side, once it unblurs there, okay, maybe it won't. There we go. Once it unblurs, you'll see that on the other side, that's where the claws are. So we've got yellow LEDs in just the talons. And the beak also, we have a LED matrix connector that you can put an extra light fixture in there. And that's just one connector that has the 555 bulb with a yellow GI bulb in there. Now for the eyes, we did something really fun. These are star post lights, these circle ones right here. But instead of just making them one color, we did their blue fire effect. It actually makes the eyes kind of flash, and it gives a really cool effect. And that will be just primarily this section right here. Now, what you can't see are these LED strips right here have not been installed. These are going to be in the main base right here. But we're going to install them on the top of the play field, or I'm sorry, on top of the pinball machine with these strips that have adhesives so that they'll be actually inside and glow upwards, and it'll make this whole feathered section white, including the head. So you'll have red here, white here, blue, and then the gold beak and talons. So it'll be red, white, and blue, kind of got that theme going on. Now, the other fun thing I did was, and this is where I get a little crazy, we've got all these flashers. We've got 9 on each side that are all spider webbed and hot glued onto the actual wings. These flashers are tied into the siren lights. So when these sirens go off in the machine, you will actually have the wings flash blue. And I can show you what that looks like in test mode. But it's a pretty cool effect, and it's pretty bright. It strobes a lot. If you were to do this yourself, you could always have the flashers back so it just glows the whole thing, flashes blue. But I kind of like the strobing effect. It lights up each individual panel here. And so this was, you can connect it into the flashers that are in here. I actually soldered them in there to avoid having a lot of excess wiring, but the matrix system does have a way where you can just connect to one of the flasher bulbs, or, you know, use a jumper. So what we're going to do now is we're going to install this up here. And the wonderful thing is that all of this lighting is actually powered through just 2 plugins. So this is our flasher plug-in, and there's a wire that has run through below the play field up through the head, and it's coming out there that will connect. And we've got plenty of length on it so that it won't, you know, tighten up if you have to lower the head or anything like that. It's not going to mess up anything. And then all of the GI lighting is going to be done through this connector. And what's amazing with LED lights is it's only going to be connected to this one bulb. And that's where all of our power is going to come from. And what I've done is I've zip tied the wire here so that it doesn't get snagged on the door. The door will open freely without messing with the wire. It's just one of the matrix connectors that you can use to pop into the actual socket. And with LED lights, you can split up that light as much as you want, and it doesn't take away from the brightness, as you'll see when we do it. So that is pretty much the pre-installation. So what I'll do is now install it, and we'll show you the finished effect. All right, we're back. So the topper is installed, and one thing that I put a lot of work into and pre-planning was to make sure that this whole illuminated topper, that you don't see any of the wires, that you don't have any idea of, you know, you don't see things hanging down or, you know, through it. So let's take a look at how it's installed. So one thing you want to always be conscious of is your cable management. So I've made sure that there's no wires back here on the back of it. Everything is behind the topper. Now there is wiring exposed here, but you can always put something, you know, white panel over this to block it all off so that you don't have anything exposed. But all the wires are zip tied down into the base of the thing there. And you also don't see any of the, like the little mini circuit boards I put in here. You just don't see anything other than the topper when you're looking at it straight on. The other thing I did is I drilled a hole underneath the base of the topper so that I don't have wires running back, like if you were going to try and put it through these holes here. I did drill a hole in the base of it that allows the wires to drop straight down in. And again, with cable management, make sure you have enough slack so that when you lower the head of your machine, or, you know, you're pulling the play field out, that you're not going to pull those wires that you have connected to your machine. So let's go ahead and turn it on. This Judge Dredd is almost ready. I've already shopped it out. So you'll see I've also done some mods to the Dead World. But we're focusing on the topper. So there it is, completely illuminated. And as you can see, you got the talons that glow. You got the beak that glows. The wings, the main body, and of course the eyes are kind of fun because they're always going to be like that. They've got those blue effects bulbs in there that make it glow like that. Now the fun part, as I told you, we did add flashers to this topper. So let's go into test mode and we will test out lamps and flashers. How about that? So ready? So there we go. So it's hard to tell on the thing, but it is flashing completely blue. Again, it is tied into these siren lights right here, just on the left-hand side. So anytime the left-hand one flashes, then you're going to get that flash up there. But that is the full topper. And I hope you enjoy. And again, if you're not having fun with pinball, what are you doing with your life?